the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet, the Wulparukabar peoples and the Bindal people. My name is Ali McConnell, I'm the manager of Tardiss. We acknowledge the presence tonight of our guests, the Honourable Coralee O'Rourke MP, who is right at the back, Minister for Disability Services, Minister for Seniors, and Minister assisting the Premier on North Queensland, and member of the Mundingburra, of course, which we're in tonight. We've got a number of newly elected or re-elected city councillors here tonight. In fact, they're yet to be declared, I think. Hopefully going to be declared next week now.
Yeah, next week now, yeah.
Okay. So I'll acknowledge we've got Councillor, I'll call you Councillor anyway, Councillor Paul Jacob, Councillor Kurt Rayburn, and Councillor Verena Coombe. Ross Cook here? No? Okay. I'd like to give a special mention to those who are here today who are participants, who are board members, who are staff and friends of Tardiss. I'll be your MC tonight. Just for housekeeping, in case there's an emergency, there's 2 exits, one straight through those glass doors, which you're welcome to open and go out onto the veranda any time, by the way, and just round the corner, and also through this door here and out through the right. There's accessible toilets through the bar and onto the other side of the deck, and there's the bar tab's open with probably enough on there for 1 or 2 drinks each. There's also finger food on its way. Today is an opportunity for the Tardiss family to celebrate the early launch of the NDIS in North Queensland. The National Disability Insurance Scheme will transform the way services are delivered in North Queensland and the amount of support which is available to them. As a petite local charity, Tardiss is ready to jump with arms wide open into the NDIS because it's founded on values which are closely aligned to our own. Tardiss values are about putting the participant at the centre of their supports, being individualised to the needs and aspirations of each person and family. The NDIS will put the participant and their family in the driving seat and their supports as it should be. I'll let Minister O'Rourke speak in more detail about the NDIS and its early rollout in Townsville, but I think it's very important to emphasise that Tardiss was created in 2009 for the purposes of providing local choice and control for participants in the North Queensland region. Becoming NDIS ready in 2016 has involved an enormous amount of work by both staff and volunteers. I'd particularly like to acknowledge the work of our board members, our former manager Barry Moyle, our coordinator and trainer Esme Wickham, who I think is hiding behind Wayne over there, our volunteers who have directly assisted the NDIS prep, Dorothy Sellers, Vicky Tellini, Tracy Whitaker, Patricia Walquist and Robert Chitona. Today we launched our Tardiss readiness for the NDIS on the first day that supports are available to children in Townsville, Charles Towers and any eligible participants on Palm Island. Within the NDIS, Tardiss will be forming close partnerships with other local organisations. And I would like to acknowledge the presence tonight of representatives from Solus, the Graduate School of Motoring, Yoga in the Parlour and Independent Living Solutions. As a locally based organisation, we want to support and partner with other local businesses as much as we can, as we are all starting to see a wave of national and international fly-ins coming in now that the NDIS is here in Townsville. Today we also launched our new look, branding and website. And I've got a little video to play.
The NDIS is about to roll out across North Queensland. This means more resources and funding for local families in need. More importantly, it means that you finally have a choice in who you choose as your disability support provider. Tardiss is a local organisation that has been supporting people with disabilities across North Queensland for over 5 years. This allows us to be flexible and focused in our approach to providing you with the care and support that you need to live your life to its fullest. Let us be your first choice. Tardiss Disability Support. Love, respect, honesty.
Our new logo was selected from a field of 14 different designs, which were created by 4 local designers. The final logo was selected by a vote of our participants, our staff, and our board members. Our brochures, websites, branding, promotional video have all been produced using local businesses and designers and what talent they have. We could not be happier with the results. Our website and promotional video are live, although we've had a few kinks this afternoon. For the first time, please check them out over the weekend and provide any feedback you might have for us. Before we move on, you're all aware that our launch tonight will be live streamed through Facebook, and most of you have generously shared this live feed on your Facebook. It is through word of mouth and reputation that Tardiss will thrive in the NDIS, and we appreciate your support. As much as we've got professionally created marketing material, obviously we don't have the kind of money to put TV ads on and things like that. So it's word of mouth and reputation which will stand us in the stead of time. I'd like to introduce you to our keynote speaker for the evening. The Honourable Coralee MP is a bit of a personal hero of mine. I've known her for many years, mostly from when she was the national leader of the Big Steps campaign, fighting for quality early childhood education and care. Coralee was always someone who said yes when asked to step up and fight for what she believed in. When she won the seat at Moneyborough last year, defeating David Crisafulli, she won with a swing of 14.4% primary vote, and this was a seat not expected to change hands. And it came through Coralee's really hard work and dedication. I can attribute that throughout the last year before the election. As a newly elected MP, Minister O'Rourke was given the portfolio of Minister for Disabilities, Minister for Seniors, and Minister assisting the Premier of North Queensland, which is still a mouthful. These are portfolios with massive implications for the future of our community here in North Queensland. In the disability space, it's a portfolio of huge reform with the rollout of the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Less than a month ago, negotiations between the state and federal government were completed, providing participants and organisations such as Tardiss with a roadmap to move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Minister Coralee.
Can you all hear me down the back there?
Yeah.
So firstly, if I can start by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land in which we meet and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present. If I can also acknowledge our newly appointed councillors who will be declared hopefully sooner rather than later. Paul Jacob, Kurt Ryban and Verena Coombe. Also, if I can thank Alec McConnell, manager of Tardiss, for the invitation tonight. I can actually thank Alec for where I am today because it was conversation with him and the fight that I had with Big Steps that gave me the drive to fight for our community more broadly. So thank you, Alec. And on top of that, I will say the passion that Alec has for what he takes under his wing, I think will go a long way for the success of Tardiss. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to be here today at the celebration of the early launch of NDIS here in Townsville and Charters Towers and Palm Island, but also very proud to be here for the launch of the new brand and the website for Tardiss. This is an incredibly exciting time for us as we move forward to the NDIS. It is the biggest social reform we've had since Medicare, which is about 40 years ago. And to the extent that this is such a major reform, we're looking at doubling the amount of people with disability who will have choice and control over their lives, from about 45,000 people to well over 90,000 people just in Queensland alone. We're also looking at bringing in an additional 13,000 more people into our workforce just in the disability sector, which is an absolutely enormous task ahead of us, but something I know the sector will well and truly take under its wing and move forward with. Something else to bear in mind with the extent of the major reform we're facing is that people with disability will become one of the biggest consumer groups we have with us, and they are looking at investing about $4 billion a year into our economy with the choices that they will make about the lives that they want to live. So this is something really important for us. But something that I think is very important for Townsville in particular with regards to the jobs that were coming forward is that the NDIS will bring almost 700 jobs into the Townsville region, which is something that we do need. And this is going to be just in the disability sector, but we're also going to see entrepreneurial businesses pop up. And this is going to be from the choices that people with disability will start making based on the fact that they will have a voice. What I wanted to say, yes, it was 2 weeks ago this week actually that we signed the bilateral agreement, which was a very long and sometimes frustrating journey, but we're there, and now we have the opportunity for organisations like Tardiss to know exactly when, where and how this will roll out over the next 3 years. So that is incredibly exciting, and I really look forward to seeing the successes that will bring to people and the changes that their lives will face. One thing actually I really did want to say, and I had the opportunity tonight to meet one of our first families who will enter the scheme. That is incredibly exciting. I thought initially that the signing of the bilateral would be my wow moment. We finally got there, this is exciting, and you'll hear me shout from the skies. But that was the case, but when I heard that our first families were actually coming in, that was more the most exciting moment for me, was the fact that we here in Queensland, who haven't had the opportunity to experience this, is going to experience that. So that is the most exciting thing for me. I really look forward to hearing about the experiences that our families will have and the differences that this will make for their lives, and that is probably the most important thing for all of us here in the room tonight. That's the most important thing for me tonight, is to see those journeys begin from here on in. So I want to thank you all for being here, for the rebranding of Tardiss, and I look forward to hearing about the successes that Tardiss will bring and the changes that our families' lives will see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister O'Rourke. As the Minister mentioned, we do have a very, very special guest here tonight. Deborah Dooley is over here, have a wave. Deborah's son Keegan will be the first person in Queensland to receive an NDIS funding package. Deborah has chosen Tardiss as a service provider who she wishes to welcome into her home to provide services to her children once her package is plans approved, I guess you'd say. Deborah wanted to speak tonight to share her story going into the NDIS. However, and I've confirmed this a couple of times tonight, Deborah's not a fan of public speaking, and she's asked if her speech can be read for her, and anyone who would like to speak with her individually would be welcome to do so afterwards. So if you don't mind continuing to hear me, I'll read it for Deborah. Deborah. My name is Deborah Dooley. I have 7 children, 5 of whom will be eligible for the NDIS. I have in the past received very little supports other than the carer's pension. My 5th child, Keegan, is going to be the first person to receive an NDIS package in Queensland. My 6th and 7th children, Marissa and Sasha, will probably have their NDIS planned within the next month, and my 2 older sons to follow. I wanted to share my story for those in the room who will be going down this path within the next year. I've been doing my planning with the NDIS for Keegan and with my NDIS planner Aaron. It has been a long and exhausting process, but really interesting. There are surveys to fill out, phone interviews, as well as in-person interviews and planning sessions. I think it is really important for people to know how the NDIS differentiates from the education and Medicare systems. It's really easy to get confused because everyone is so focused on medical and education that we haven't thought much about the space in which the NDIS operates. It is about reasonable and necessary supports to assist my children and others to participate in ordinary activities that they would never have the opportunity to do so before. My big thing with Sasha is she loves to dance, she loves music, but getting her to these things is close to impossible because with a family who have a lot of disabilities, it is impossible to get people to activities when others cannot leave the house. When you have children with special challenges, there are so many barriers just to getting children to activities and outings. Without support from organisations like Tardiss, it is my experience that it is just impossible to take advantage of opportunities which come up for my children, such as going to Frog's school holiday program, which was this week, which unfortunately Keegan had to miss out on. Our families should be able to live like other families. Our families should be able to live like other families. Every year I set aside a little bit of money to have a holiday, and every year it doesn't happen. We have never been on a family holiday, and that is one of the little things that we have missed out on. But it would make such a big difference to our families' lives. When the children watch TV, they ask if they could do this or that, and it's always, yeah, one day. But now with the NDIS, we might actually be able to do it. This is going to be a huge change for us. I really appreciate all the work that has gone into preparing for the NDIS, both by the Minister and her department and in Tardiss. I have decided to use Tardiss workers to provide services to my family under the NDIS because they are local and small. Up until now, I have relied on my mother to provide support for my family. It has been a 24/7 job for both of us. With NDIS, hopefully my mother can retire and just enjoy her family for what family is and not to be seen as a job. The NDIS will change my life. The NDIS will change my children's lives. We really look forward to this new journey, and it is my choice to take that journey with Tardiss. I'm happy to talk to anyone one-on-one about the process I'm going through at the moment, as I know a lot of people have questions. I can only speak about my experience, but I know that a lot of people are unaware about the NDIS and what it will mean. Thank you. It's been an honour for both Esme and I to get to know Deborah over the last month and her beautiful family, and I can certainly attest to Deborah's mother needing a break. So our last speaker for today is Esme Wickham, who is a founding member of Tardiss. She has dedicated literally thousands of volunteer hours of work to Tardiss, and is now our coordinator and trainer. Esme, if you'd like to come up. Ladies and gentlemen, Esme Wickham.
Mummy, tonight I want to let you know how Tardiss works, how it started. In 2009, I had a phone call from an organisation here in Townsville that couldn't really meet the needs of the disability. I was at work at the time. My profession, by the way, is nursing and coordinating with aged care and disability. And I'm a trainer and a set-up. Anyway, this organisation said to me they couldn't meet my needs. And I was at work, And I thought, well, that's it. I will start a new organisation. I had a registered nurse beside me at the same time as well. And she said, do it. Let's do it. Okay. Well, we needed someone to help us. So I said a few names in my head, and she thought a few names, but only one name come up. And that was our friend Dale Corker, to help us.
Oh, that wasn't me.
With all the other things we needed. Anyway, off we went on the journey. Yes, we didn't want our clients to be a number. We want them to be individualised clients. And that's what we have now, is individualised clients. And because we love them so much, 2 of them are sitting here right now in our meeting tonight. So we've done this journey. My husband and I, kept going. We had ups and downs, yeah, like we all do. And some pulled out, some came back, some pulled out, and we thought, oh, what are we going to do? But anyway, we made it. But they're all not numbers, they're individual cases. What helped me was, I just want to present you with this little thing tonight. And I want you to remember this in your heart. If you haven't got it here, how can you shine the light? All our clients are adorable. And I want to speak on behalf of Mary. Okay? Mary was with this organisation. And she didn't really like the organisation, but she had to put up with it because there wasn't anything else. And she knew she wasn't individualised, she was just a number. Anyway, off we went, down the journey. I always told her she was adorable. So, she used to say, Mum and Dad's coming tonight. No, they're not coming tonight, the carer would say. Straight away, that broke her heart. When Mum and Dad is not coming. The next day, and then Mum and Dad would come. And oh, it was wonderful. But Mum and Dad is really coming. The carer's lying. And she used to sit beside her window in the lounge room and watch and wait for someone she knew. Sometimes Dale used to come, and she was so happy to see Dale. Isn't that right?
Oh, yes. On a Sunday.
Anyway, so on we went. And she'd say, Mary would say, well, I'm going bowling today. No, you're not. How wonderful that is for a carer to be so horrible to a disabled person. And we went on. She got sick. She needed someone to love her. Mother was sick. Mother had cancer. Mother had to try and help herself, try to help Mary, try to help the family. But she couldn't do it all. And Mary knew Mum was sick and she couldn't come, and that broke her heart again. Then the coordinator left from the organisation. She didn't know straight away that coordinator had left that organisation. They wouldn't tell her. And when she found out, she broke her heart again. Didn't have much left, have we, of our heart? So that's what Tardiss is doing. Trying to build the hearts of these people with disabilities, that they're not a number, they're individuals. And we love them so much.
says, mate. It's, we'll leave that on a high note. I think to conclude, I'd like to thank all of you for attending today. It's another day in paradise, but with the NDIS currently being rolled out in Townsville, there's a much better future ahead of us in North Queensland. And with the state Townsville's in at the moment, I think that it's a really, really wonderful story what's happening at the moment for our sector and for our participants. And I'd really like to encourage you to have a great time tonight, enjoy yourselves, celebrate what will be and what is the National Disability Insurance Scheme and what Tardiss will be as part of that. Thanks everyone for coming.